Manifestation Queens. I'm about to get all up in the biz of spiritual wellness. Christine Higgins. What's up? Happy Friday.
Hi. Thanks a mil for asking me to join you today.
Okay. So I was on your Instagram stories last night, and now I don't really dive deep into people because I want the conversations to be like free flowing. So I
Yeah.
don't do any research. But I was doing a bit of work late last night. So I was like, I'm just going to put on Christine's stories here. And you were talking about your guides and getting up in the morning at 3 a.m. and working through your guides. And I was like, okay, hold up a second here. For like, I kind of know guides because I've heard Gabrielle Bernstein talk about it. The
Yeah.
Gabby Bernstein that everybody knows, the US kind of female manifestation queen. But like, I don't really get it, but I'm open to really understanding. So, can you explain what a guide is, how you find a guide, how you get a guide, and what the guides do for you?
Well, the first thing is you always have guides around you, and there can be up to like 3, it could be 4, depends where you are on your journey. So they come in at times where you need them. Some of them specialize in certain areas that you're experiencing growth in, or there's one that's always with you. There's the guardian angel. So basically, for me, I'll speak about my experience. I have a guardian angel that's been with me for thousands of years. She won't tell me her name, but she just says Adam Caro, which is an Irish soul friend. I've had one past life with her, but when I do see her in my dreams or in my journeys, she's got beautiful red hair and really long, and she's just absolutely stunning. And in one of the past lives, she was my sister. So she stays with me all the time. Then I have my Native American Indian.
Sorry, guys, my mouth is like
Yeah,
dropping.
I can see it.
Like,
You're like-
Christine's looking at me, and my mouth is like on the floor. I'm like, she was your sister in a past life. Like you do realize that some people think not. There's no judgment here because I really into all
See,
this
it's so
stuff.
normal to me because I'm like, blah, 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 and you're like, what?
Yeah, so I really need to. I'm just like, what? Who?
Backtrack.
Who? Okay. She was your sister. Okay, well, let's keep going. So you always have a guardian angel. I get that. We're
Yes.
Catholic. We all have guardian angels. Lorna Byrne talks about it. So I think we're cool with that. You know, the fact that we kind of believe, that we have a guardian angel. But past lives, sisters in past lives, that's maybe somewhere where I need to.
Yeah, we need to go deeper in.
Yeah. Okay, so,
Yeah.
but just still fascinated by it all. Okay, this red hair girl, she was your sister. She's a
In one
guide.
life.
She won't give you her name.
No, she
Okay.
won't. She'll never give me her name. So it's like Adam Cara, which is soul friend in Irish.
Okay.
So she's definitely like my soul guide, Then I have a Native American Indian, and his name is Arklow. And he is like the proper chieftain. He's always on my left-hand side. And even when I'm going into like anywhere in ceremonies, and if other healers are visual, they say there's always a Native American on your left-hand side. And I'm like, oh, that's Arklow. It's fine. He's always with me. And his energy reminds me of my husband's. It's a very supporting, very quiet, sits in the background, just, protective minding. Never really intervenes, but anytime I'm going into a place where I need extra protection, he's always there.
Guess what? The 21-day manifestation challenge is back, and we have limited spots. If you want to be a vibe in 2025 and manifest your dream life, please book your spot. This is for anybody who wants to manifest something in particular, maybe is struggling to manifest what you want, or maybe you have been manifesting, but you're like, this is just not working for me. Join the manifestation movement and all the other manifestation queens and sign up at pausepenny.com. I went to a psychic recently and he told me, do you know you have like Native American history? And he said military as well. And I remember this famous psychic to the celebs in the US kept saying to me like, military. I was like, oh, this one does not know what the fuck she's talking about because I don't know what she's on about.
Yeah.
He said it as well.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And like, we can go back centuries, because don't forget, like, for us to be sitting here right now, our ancestors have had to survive wars, famine, like worldwide disasters in order for us to be sitting here looking at each other right now. Think about that. We're also carrying all their trauma and all their life experiences in our heart space. And that's why when we are here in this lifetime, you may be carrying some of that trauma into this lifetime, which where we're going, I don't know why this is really deeply affecting me, and I've never had any experience in this, but I'm either really drawn to this or it's triggering me for some reason, or there's always something that I'm getting a real deep feeling about this. Even going into buildings, old buildings, or, stories of the Titanic. It's like, why do I feel so drawn and obsessed with the Titanic? Because it's a past life. It's a memory that we're remembering in this life.
So the guides though, how do you know, when did you realize they were there? And how do they speak to you? Like, is it just a knowing? Is it an intuition? Or is it like this guy's like, Arklow, I'm here. What's up? You can see, like,
Hey.
what way? Yeah. What, like,
So I call them the lads. There's also
I call my twins the lads.
Yeah. I call them the lads because I'm like, the lads are out talking to me. But like, I have another one. He's actually, he's a banker. He looks like, do you know the dad out of Mary Poppins, the banker?
I'm not
With
sure.
the dark suit and
the
bowl hat.
Yeah.
He's the image of him. Because as a child, I could really relate to him. I remember being a child looking at a movie. I watched it like a million times. I was like, I want him to be my dad. And he has come in a physical form that I can relate to.
But how are they coming in, and why are these people choosing you?
Because we all get assigned guides to keep us on our journey. So we can go off track on our journey, or we might not be working from a place of where we're supposed to be in our soul purpose. And our guides are constantly trying to move us onto that path, be it like lessons, be it like, teachings, people. You never get like, you're randomly somebody comes into your life and you're like, I'm really connected to you, and they help you for a little bit of a small period in your lifetime. They make a big impact and then they're gone. That's your guides working with them to try and get them to help you get on the right path.
And how do you hear them? Because I don't hear any guides.
So this is the thing. So we all have clair gifts. Like we all have like claircognizant, clairsentient, clairvoyance. There's like another two more. There's clairaugustance, which is the hearing, and clairsentient. Okay, so they're all different gifts that we all have as humans. However, it depends where you are in your spiritual journey of the level and the magnitude of their accessibility to you. Does that make sense?
Is there one that's intuition? Because I have an extreme, I think, like I did hear, especially when I was pregnant, I remember it was funny, like after I had the loss of a baby and then I got pregnant again. I remember it's such a crazy story, but I remember I was looking for a remote control.
Yeah.
And I heard this voice saying, it's in the cupboard on the right-hand side. And by the way, this pregnancy is going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I was like, okay, the remote is not in the cupboard, because my son he wasn't one of those kids. I had one child at the time that put stuff in random places. So I bent down, went over to the cupboard, opened it up, and there it was. It's like, that's weird. So that's so I do get these kind of voice moments, but more so I have this strong knowing that things are going to happen, just knowing. But I don't know if I'm convincing myself it's going to happen or if I just deeply know.
No, that's two gifts there. That's claircognizant, so it's a deeper knowing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I know I have to do it.
Yeah.
Then you've clairaudient, which is where you're hearing things, and it's people say I'm hearing voices like outside me. It's not. It's inside. It's your inner wisdom that's coming forward, and it's your guides trying to speak to you. And if you're walking down the street, and I think everyone can relate to this, you're walking down the street, and then you're in your own little world. You're on your phone, and next minute out of the blue, stop. And you stop and a car goes flying by and you're like, oh God, that's a bit too close.
Yeah.
That's your clairaudient. That's your guides shouting at you going, stop it. Or, you're doing something like, you've created a bad habit in something and there's the voice is like, don't do this. And you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll just keep doing it. And you're ignoring. And so many people out there, we ignore the signs.
Yeah. And we ignore them and we're like, no, I'm going to keep going. But I think what happens then is that you get such a land.
Oh, 100%.
If you don't listen to the signs, they're going, I feel like sometimes they're like little lessons that show up.
Little lessons, curveballs.
rocket ships.
Yeah.
But I actually felt like that when I kept having miscarriages.
Mm.
So I had this knowing, right, that getting pregnant wasn't going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
It was just this weird thing. I was like, oh, it's not going to be hard for me. I'm going to get pregnant easily. And I did get pregnant easily. And then I would miscarry.
Yeah.
And then after I had the first miscarriage and then I had the second one, I was like, what are you trying to teach me, universe? Go fuck off. Like, I've learned my lessons. Like, I am present. I am grateful. I have perspective.
doing the work.
Stop teaching me. I don't want to
Yeah.
learn anymore. I don't need this third one. And why'd you do this to me?
Mm.
And then after the baby had passed, at 5.5 months pregnant, I was like, what are you trying to teach me?
Yeah.
That's because I always take it back to like, is it always a lesson or does this shit just happen in life?
There's always a deeper meaning to everything that we find ourselves in, every situation, and it's all about alignment. And are we aligned within ourselves to be ready for this frequency to come in? Is the frequency the same?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that if it wasn't for the loss of Polly, I would never have started the podcast, Pause Penny, manifestation mindset, trying to teach people that like, you can do this too. And there's a lot of, for me personally, there's a lot of purpose behind it, even though there's days that I'm like, jeez.
Oh, come here.
I could just be a lawyer.
I'm the same. It's like, please.
We're all going to have. So tell me, going back to the guides, how do you hear them?
So I'm clairaudient, so I can hear them speaking or the voice comes from within. I'm also starting to develop clairvoyance, which is seeing. And that's another story. And also I have a clairsentient and I have claircognitant. So
Are you ever afraid? I mean, I was in Lanzarote recently and the light went off and on in the bedroom and I was like, go away. Go away. I don't even know if it was somebody there. Honestly, it could have been one of the kids just pulling out the key card in the hotel. But like, I do not want to see you. Like, go away.
I have to say, it's a thing where you have to just trust and surrender and just to know that your guides are around to protect you. When you know you're divinely protected, then you're fine. And it is a bit scary a little bit. But you see, we have been conditioned in this lifetime to not believe in the power within us and to believe that the power is outside of us. So that's why a lot of people question their gut, their feelings, those deep knowings, because we've been conditioned to think that the power is outside of us. And that's in the form of, religion, structures, governments, everything,
Yeah, and we need to trust our gut and our intuition. But how do you actually tap into that?
Well, my guides had to step in there at the start last Christmas, actually, because I wasn't sitting in this trust and surrender. And when I think back, I was really triggered because I was sitting in the fear of money.
Okay.
And I wasn't trusting the process. I wasn't handing over the surrendering to the guides and saying, look, you walk this path, we'll look after you, but you have to sit in trust. And I was running into the utility room. I had to record a meditation and I just walked the dog and I had like a little, like small little time frame. So I ran into the utility room and I remember this clear as day voice going, watch the loose tile underneath you. And I shouted out loud, yeah, whatever. And as I picked up the dog food in the cup and spun around to put it into the bowl, didn't the tile lift? And I went spinning into the dog crate and caught my hand in the dog and the fingers in the dog crate and it was like a proper spin. And I remember just like going, how do I get out of here? Because I was just wrangled. Anyway, I broke my hand. So my guides are very, it's obviously because I don't listen that much. They're very, what would you say? Severe when I don't listen.
Yeah.
They step in and it's a big thing. That's only one thing.
Yeah. And
moment.
I do believe that. I do believe that like in this journey of life, you are going to be taught lessons.
100%.
And if you don't listen to those lessons, if you don't listen to the whispers are going to become shouts and the shouts are going to become a tornado.
Yeah.
So listen up, folks. Get your shit together and start listening to yourself.
100%. Like what? I broke my hand. I couldn't write because I was starting to write a book, but I knew I wasn't aligned to write the wisdom. The vibration was off.
Because maybe you still hadn't surrendered on the money part.
But also because I was like, oh, if I get this book and I rush through it and I get a book deal, I'll make money and I'll be fine. But really it was like, no, you need to sit in the stillness and wait for the wisdom to come true to be able to channel the book.
And one of the things as well that comes up so much for people is manifesting abundance.
Yeah.
And that manifesting mindset. And a lot of people will be like, but yeah, it's easy for you to say, like, you're a lawyer now and you earn money or whatever. And I have been broke, guys, lots of
Oh,
times.
me too.
I have been broke. But if you are in a situation where your mindset around money, it's tough for you and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you just have this like lack scarcity mentality, where would you start to kind of pull yourself out of it, to start to trust?
Well, it's when we get out of our head and into our body. You know, we're so in our heads all the time that we're not listening to the guides. We're not listening to the wisdom coming from within. So it's about going into our feminine energy of stillness, meditation, surrendering, acceptance. Acceptance. You know, look at your bank balance. Oh my God, I have a penny. What the hell? Acceptance of my spending could be a result of a trauma around money. You know, I need to look at this. It's like heal from the trauma of money. And a lot of people have trauma around money. You know, I remember my dad, like, he used to bring us to McDonald's and have the Big Mac. And he was always about money, you know what I mean? And so I've noticed that as I moved into adulthood, I spend, and I give, because it's like I have a hole in my pocket. It's like, I don't deserve this, you know? And then I had to sit in that in the last year and say, okay, this isn't serving me because I keep throwing money away and I have to spend it really, really fast. But it was conditioned in me from when I was a child. So I had to look at that and I had to understand and get the higher perspective of why I was reacting around money the way I was.
Yeah, I think actually it's a really good point because like I said, I would have grown up more in a scarcity mindset. So I have a sister who's got like anxiety around money. She's like, "Oh my God, never have enough." I've got one sister who literally in the account out the next day, like it'll
That's
never
me.
ever sit
Well,
there.
it was me.
Yeah, and I tend to be a spender as well. But I tend to have this belief that it's going to come back.
Yes, but you have to look is the energy behind it because you feel you don't deserve this money and you're throwing it away, or is it a response of a situation you're in? You know, or is it like what is the feeling that's coming up within you when you spend? Is it
I'm like, I just want this. I deserve it. I'm taking this.
there you go.
I'm
So
having it.
that's it. I'm having it because I can control that. It's mine. But like,
Yeah.
why do I get that? I know when I spend all my money, not that I have loads of money, but when I see my bank balance, I say of like €500 and it's gone, I get this like, oh God, it's gone.
Oh, I don't get that
Where's
way.
that from?
I'm actually the opposite. The more money I have, the more I spend. The less money I have, the more I'm like, oh God, I can't spend that. It's weird.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm like, spend it till I see zero. Why? Because ingrained from my dad, you know what I mean? The scarcity mindset. I need to live in this energy because that's all I deserve, self-worth, you know what I mean? And it's all just connected.
And we have to remember as well that if you've got limiting beliefs around money, you've got to figure that out. And it's a lot of the time it will come from your childhood. Like it'll come from money doesn't go on trees.
Yes.
That's too expensive. We can't. Fair enough. You may not have been able to afford it and you might not be able to afford it, but you can still say different things to yourself now. Like, I'll come back for that is something that I say.
Yeah.
I'll come back for that. Or
And
bargain.
Exactly.
It's not a bargain.
Bargains. Yeah. I love a bold bargain. But also look around how you spend money on your children. You know, am I afraid to say no to my children because I don't want them to not like me? That's a big one.
Oh, I'm always showering my kids with gifts. And my husband's like, why do you do that? And you know what? It's probably making up for the fact that I love to work and I'm not with them as much. So it's like shower them with gifts. Ooh.
Is that because the mommy guilt?
I don't know if I have guilt, but maybe like I don't have mom guilt in the
Yeah.
sense of I feel guilty I'm going to work because I believe that if you're a happy mom, you'll have happy kids. And if you're present
Yes.
when you're with them,
there.
that's more important than
Yeah. 100%.
like even in work, it's quality over quantity. So what's the quality like? But I guess, yeah, probably stems from the fact that you're like, you're gifting them and you're just like, Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. You know what I think that though in life, I think we all look at all these people on social media and wherever, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and we're like, oh wow, look at them or whatever. Everyone has something to work on.
Yes.
No matter what it is. And sometimes people come into your life, just like you, Christine, that have made me realize that I'm spending on my kids to make me feel better about myself.
Sorry.
God damn it.
I reflected the shadow. I'm so sorry.
What is the shadow stuff, by the way? Again, like
it's the hidden depths of you that you don't look at yourself, within yourself, or don't show other people. It's that hidden depth within you. We all have depth.
Because they talk about shadow work. So what does that mean?
So we always have we have light side and we have a shadow side. So the light side is you're seeing the light side of me right now. You wouldn't like think of me like, okay, let's going home and screaming at my kids when I'm going to walk in the door because they like spilled a drink or something. Yeah. Or maybe I go home and I'm really controlling towards my husband. Like stuff like the shadow side, the stuff that you would never show in front of people that you see on a daily basis. Or it might sneak out a little bit, control, obsession, jealousy. You keep it hidden, like might have a little bit of a in the back of your mind going, oh, dang, is after getting that again. I'm actually jealous. But anyway, we just won't say it out loud because people will judge. Do you get me?
Yeah.
That's our shadow side, but also in our shadow side is it's our repressed emotions, the emotions that we bury deep down within us that we do not communicate or really show people. There's a lot of depth in everyone, and you're only seeing the surface. We have our masks on, and that's why a lot of people, like, if they experience trauma, they'll put on their mask. It's fine. I'm the warrior. I'll just keep going. But the shadow will always come up out of the depths to see if you are ready to witness it, to heal from it. And a lot of people repress it back down when it comes up. And that's why, you might fall out with your friend, but it feels like an avalanche of emotions. And it's like, why do I feel so strongly with this? Because one of your emotions is like, or one of your traumas is like codependency.
Oh God, that like totally hits hard. I remember after the loss of the baby, the grief therapist said to me, Yvonne, you don't always have to be the warrior, right? And so when I went to the psychic, he told me, he was like, they're telling me, Yvonne, that you went straight back to work. Now she was 5.5 months. Wasn't a full-term baby, but that you went straight back to work,
Carry
that
on.
you use work as like your way of not dealing with things, right? But then I had a really good friend who had a baby that passed away just shortly after birth. And I swear, for about a month, I know but like, I actually remember saying to my husband, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be right again.
Yeah.
It wasn't my baby, it was hers, but
it was
the pain,
emotions.
the pain I had for her, because I didn't even have a full-term baby. She had a full-term baby, and I had so much pain over. I still actually
I can feel it off
for
you.
her.
My hands are buzzing.
Yeah, and I actually have a lot of that pain for other people.
Yeah, because it reminds you of the emotions, that you experience, but they come up in an avalanche because maybe we didn't fully step into that to heal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember I went with my husband and the 2 kids afterwards. I had a little girl, Penelope. We went to Portugal for 5 weeks. And she was 5 months old. And I remember being so unhappy on holidays. And I'm usually a really happy person. And my husband was like, what's wrong? I was like, I just don't know. I'm just like, it's like and then I went back to the grief therapist because it is important to
100%
talk it out.
Yeah. That's why I offer soul coaching sessions and we go really deep, because you would have experienced what we call in shamanic practitioner is soul loss. So our souls are amazing because whenever we experience trauma, a piece of our soul detaches and stays. That fragment of the soul stays in that time and location to be able for, yes, the emotions are there, but they don't overconsume us. But if you can imagine, we go through life and there might be a soul piece when we were bullied in primary school. There might be a soul piece where someone neglected us. There might be a soul piece in adulthood in work. There might be a soul piece left back when we were in a bad relationship. So then we come to here, where we're sitting here opposite each other. You can think of all those soul pieces that are left. So there's like this deep feeling of never feeling complete or never feeling whole or feeling lost and having no direction. And when we do soul coaching, we go back to the time and location, not the trauma, to find our soul piece. And it's like another form of healing our inner child. And they're quite powerful. We do it in the sense of the shamanic drum. So it's through a trance and meditation. Because ultimately, you heal yourself. I just hold the space.
And it's all about taking responsibility for yourself. And I've been that one person that's like, I'm not doing inner child work.
Yes.
I'm not doing that because I don't want to go back to my childhood. It was fine. It was grand. It was whatever. Like because I'm this sort of person. The psychic said to me, he's like, you're a Libra and you're like a dragon. So like you're some sort of dragon Libra where you're like, you're a helper, you're a healer.
Yeah.
But if people don't take your advice, you're like, goodbye, see ya. Like it's this, I'm telling you how to do it. Like
You're very direct. That's it.
I'm very direct. It's like this way, you can do it this way, do it your way, fine. But if you're asking me for my advice, this is it. So I'm very like straight through, like, let's do this shit. Let's not like, sit and stew in the past, move on, move forward. But I probably just a sign that I need to do the bloody work. I don't want to though.
Sorry, this is like a real deep conversation. You're like, I wasn't prepared for this, Christine.
Yeah. So yeah,
Sorry.
it is an interesting one. And I think no matter what in this life, we all have stuff that
100%.
we have to work through no matter what. Do you think that, like what I'm trying to understand is when a soul or like a baby or a parent or something passes away, like all these psychics or clair, whatever they are, they're able to connect with them, right?
Yeah.
So they say, right? They can connect with them. And I do believe that. I believe that. But what happens if they have another life?
So our souls, our souls are in, say, the spiritual realm. That's what I call it, the spiritual realm. Okay. They may stay in the spiritual realm, or they may decide to reincarnate back on Earth to experience another chance of evolution, of soul evolution or expansion. So if you can imagine, the spiritual realm is like a set of stairs. Okay, so you're at one step, and before you come down, you want to learn something. So Earth is dense energy. It's all about emotions. It's all about growth, the inner work, expansion. Okay, and as a soul, we may decide, I'm going to learn about judgment. And that judgment lesson can be in the form of you being judged, or it's on being aware of both perspectives of judgment, like you judging and then you being judged, or any other lesson. So we decide to come down to earth. We decide who we're going to be, the time, etc., who are going to be our parents, who's going to be our siblings. And we come down and we go through life. We have amnesia, so we forget. So our guides are then putting in these energies and these experiences for us to learn that lesson. Maybe not nice lessons either, but it's all about our soul evolution and learning what we really want to learn and work through. Some people don't hear that calling, like as if healing was easy, everybody be doing it. Some people don't hear that calling, put their blinkers on, as I call them, and they'll just put their head down and not really connect with their spiritual side or anything. And that's fine. But what'll happen is when they pass into spiritual realm again, they're like, I'm still at that step. I didn't learn the lesson. I'm going to have to go back down again. You get me? But the more you learn, the more you evolve, and then you go back up, and then you're on another step to go back down again till you get up to the higher.
But why would anybody choose so much pain and heartache, like losing a child or a parent that's in, a country where there's war now and they're holding their babies, and like whose choice is that? The parent, the baby? That's what I find. Like, why would anybody make that awful
because
choice?
there's a higher thing going on. So in terms of, say, war, the war is, everyone has free will down here. And people that declare war are working it from their free will. If they were so far removed from their heart space, they forget. So what happens is the people that are suffering, their role is to wake up the world to show them what is happening, the darkness in the world. And in fact, it's a ripple effect that wakes up a hell of a lot more people.
I feel like nobody's awake. I feel like
We're
everybody's
starting
asleep.
to. Up until the
It's
last couple of years,
2024.
I know we're
How
slow
is,
to
but
evolve.
how is there war in
I
2024?
know.
Like, it is 2024, and we tell our kids, you don't fight, don't speak to your sister like that, don't kick each other, don't pull each other's hair, and there's children being killed.
Yeah.
This is just insanity to me. It's total and utter insanity.
I remember one morning I saw a video and like my daughter came in, she's 9, and I was so like stuck in a parallel universe going, how can they be suffering? And I saw a 9-year-old girl like suffering. And then I looked at my daughter who is oblivious to everything. And then I was like, asking my guides, like, how can this world be so cruel? And then it came in, it's the law of polarity. There will always be darkness, there will always be light. But the more the light shines, the darkness recedes into the shadow. We'll always have light and darkness. But the more people that step onto their journey of healing and spirituality, the light shines stronger. And we start to then create a world that is a completely different energy than we're in now. But it's about the individual in order for it to be on a collective level. So slowly, we're starting to move into that. A lot of people are speaking about spirituality a hell of a lot more than they did 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And we can kind of thank COVID for that one because it woke up a lot of people. There's veils being lifted. There's evil in the entertainment industry. Everyone's wondering what the hell's going on over there. It was happening for years, but it's starting to come into our energy that, hold on a minute, we have given so much of our energy to like be obsessed with the music world and the industry and have let them take so much control over us that now it's starting to open up to show us that this isn't light. It's a lot of darkness in the music industry.
Yeah. And how do you get the courage to step into your authentic self, step into your purpose, and even know what your purpose is?
Well, it's, do you know what? It's back to Mother Earth. It's connecting to Mother Earth. So if you think about it, for centuries, we've moved so far away from how our ancestors lived. We're like working, we're like, you know, it's like drinking to excess every weekend, working nonstop, running around, constantly in the chaos. It's even down to what you listen to on the news. Like that's low vibration. The music industry, low vibration music. It's a certain frequency. It's all to keep us controlled and our vibrations low so that we stay controlled. But that one individual that says, do you know what? I'm going to step away from that energy and I'm going to work on myself and listen and heal from within. They start connecting to Mother Earth, remembering how their ancestors used to live. You know, a lot of people during lockdowns, everyone loved the sea swimming. They moved to the forest because intuitively we were listening to the wisdom coming through to guide us through that time. And that is the key, but you have to go back to Mother Earth. And that is as simple as taking your shoes off, letting the soles of your feet connect to her frequency at 7.83 hertz. We are connecting. She's like a generator. She puts in the vibration into our bodies of healing, but she also takes the heaviness away and keeps us grounded. So then when we are up against the chaotic world that we're in, we feel more grounded and stable that we can overcome anything that comes our way.
I love that. I also believe that even for me, right? Like, I really believe that my purpose at this point is just inspiring people to live their best lives, like
Yep.
to teach people about your mindset and that you can do it and you can believe in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And anytime I have a wobble, and I'm just like, oh, it's like, you know, sales are low, or I reach out to somebody and I get another no. I'm
Yeah.
used to no's.
Yeah.
Like rejection is
Me
rejection.
too.
I don't even care.
I've gotten over rejection.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
me
It's
too.
like,
I love it. I'm like, ooh, something bigger is coming for
Yes.
me. Rejection? Oh, if you're rejecting me, who the hell is coming along?
This is just an opportunity to pivot.
Exactly. But anytime I ever get that, I just say, like, I put it out. I say the universe, but I mean like the angels, God. I do believe in God and the angels. I just say, give me a sign that I'm on the right path. Just please give me something. And I swear, within the day, I will get a message from somebody or
Yep.
multiple messages that are just so uplifting that they're just like, you've helped me so much, or you've inspired me, or, oh my God, I can't believe I was in a group and your name came up and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay,
But what were you
back at it.
doing there? What were you doing in that moment? You asked them to help you. And that is the key, because I just getting messages in my left ear. It's like, tell them how you connect. They connect to us. You have to invite them in. They can give you signs like throw feathers in your way. They can get a robin to come in and be really attentive to you. Numbers, like all the numbers, see double 11, 11, 11, and all these double numbers. They can throw them. And if you're receptive to it, you will get the message. But what they want me to tell you is they cannot interfere unless you invite them in.
I've heard that lots of times. Did you hear that, guys? Like, we need to ask for help, particularly moms, women.
Yes.
We don't like asking for help,
100%.
but you know what? Nobody knows you're asking here except for yourself.
Exactly.
So say it out loud,
And your
or can you
guys.
say it in your head? Can they hear you?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's about creating stillness. If there's a chance where you have 10 minutes, it's all it takes. If you go out into your back garden, you have grass or somewhere, a cup of tea, stand on the grass, shoes off, connect to Mother Earth, and then just close down your eyes and connect to your breath and just slow it down. Just really bringing your awareness inwards towards your heart space and slow it down using your breath, breathing in and then breathing out, just really slow. And then you call in your guides, say, lads, I call mine lads. They're just used to me, is how I call them. Or I want to connect to my guides. Please help me in this situation I currently find myself in.
Would your guides talk to my guides?
They would talk. And then so when I do soul coaching sessions, we open up sacred space. So their guides come in and my guides come in, and then they work together, and then they come in on my left-hand side to tell me. So
Do your guides change?
They do change. They come in. There's other guides that come in when you're on a different level you're in another experience in your life.
So if you so manifestation, do you believe then in manifestation?
Yes, but I'm more from the energy side of things. Things
Okay.
have to be aligned in order for you to manifest what needs to come in, and if it's for your higher self.
Okay, so you explain that to us, how you, so for example, right, if you tell your guides, okay, I want to manifest writing a book, and like, do they help you, or do you initially make that decision, or is it your soul making the decision? Like, who's making the decision as to what you want?
Your higher self.
Okay.
If it is your higher self's need to get the wisdom out to write a book, then it's when you're sitting there going, okay, I want to manifest me writing a book, but you have to put the work in, and I mean on an energetic level. So if you sat there and said, okay, I want to write a book, and I'll just wait for it to come, and a book's not going to land in your lap, you may have to do healing work on yourself in order to open up that layer within you to be able to help you get the wisdom out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it is about your vibration. So like a lot of people saying, look, I manifested and never came true. And I'm going, okay, well, how are your thoughts and how are your words? Because they are your wand. Like, your words are your wand. If you're speaking in a low vibration about yourself or others, then low vibration will be attracted to you. If you imagine your solar plexus is like the center of your core, it's where your wisdom, your power is, okay? And it's like the center of the universe is just below your rib cage, your solar plexus. And it's like a gravitational force. So you're in your power and you're connecting to your power, and you call in something. If it is from a high vibrational energy, so if you're doing high vibrational activities like speaking nice to yourself, speaking nice to others, also then doing like a lot of work through Mother Earth because she has a higher frequency, you're stepping more into alignment of who you are, you're being more authentic, high vibration. You're minding your energy in terms of looking at your circle of friends or families that may be very low vibrational, moving away from that, listening to the wisdom within and asking yourself, what do I need today? Okay, I need to go to the sea and just cleanse this heaviness off me, or I need to go to the forest and just heal a little bit more. You're aligning your energy, your frequency to high vibration.
Oh, you know what? It's so amazing. And I've just had a real aha moment,
Go.
right? So I don't like the rain and the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And after the loss of the baby, I was like, I need to go back boxing. And one morning, I went up to my boxing class and it was during COVID. So I had to be outside.
Yeah.
I had to be outside. It was pissing rain. The instructor had an umbrella and I
Of
went,
course.
of course. And I had to be there.
Nothing.
Nothing. I got soaked and I literally skipped home. I was so happy for the rain to just be on top of me, right? My husband met me at the door and he's like, your training session. It must have been. I was like, it was amazing. Because like that feeling of nature. But
Cleansing you.
but when after that happened for months, like so it happened in a May, June, July, August. I used to go out into the backyard, which I'd never done before, put down a yoga mat. There was this enormous tree just behind our house in the
Yeah.
garden. And I would just look up at it. And I don't know why, but I was drawn to it. And just, it's funny. I said to myself the other day, I've been asked on a few podcasts, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about the loss anymore, really, because the chapter is over.
You're rewriting your story.
It's part of who I was,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the story that I need to tell anymore, right?
Yeah.
And they cut down the tree.
So you were ready to let that go.
Even though it was absolutely heartbreaking to see the tree cut down. And I know people are going to be like, what in the name of God is she talking about? But if you think about your environment, you really tune into yourself, you are going to be able to piece a puzzle together.
Mm-hmm.
I needed the nature. The nature served a purpose. I no longer needed that particular thing. And it's now gone.
Yeah.
Even though the tree was beautiful. I never thought I'd be I can now understand why people like chain themselves to trees.
100%.
I couldn't before until now. I was like, that tree. But it kind of.
You ever hug a tree? Oh, it's so good. It is so good. I swear to God, like I walk around the forest and I'm like, I just gonna hug this tree, and the vibration from the tree, like you're tapping into the highest vibration that is accessible to humans. And it's healing.
It is. Yeah. I know I'm laughing, but like, I remember I wrote down all these manifestations that I wanted, and my yoga friend was like, let's plant them under your apple tree in the garden. I was like, this one's Lula or whatever, but let's do it anyway. And we did do it. But yeah, there is something very, very healing about nature. It's why people, like you said, they jump in the sea.
Well, you see, you're tapping into the elements. If we don't, there's 5 elements. There's the earth, water, air, spirit, and fire. We need those 5 elements to survive. Mother Earth would survive without us.
Yeah.
We're borrowing her, okay? And we're actually destroying her, which is just like mind-boggling. And hence why she's reacting, because look at all the floods and everything happening in Europe.
Fires,
Yeah.
floods. Yeah.
Absolutely. She's angry. But the more we reconnect to her is where she heals. So we need 5 elements to be able to survive. We need our spirit. We need the earth. We need that grounding energy. We need fire for our passion. We need water for emotions. And we need, what was the other one?
Spirit.
Air, our breath. We need our breath to survive. We need those 5 elements every day to be more balanced and in line within ourselves.
When you talk about energy and the fact that we have a vibrational energy, and we all know people who literally, I always say, suck the life out of us or just a
Energy
bit
vampires.
negative. Yeah. And you can have them like, they can be family. They can be some people that you just associate with, or, that person that asks you to meet for coffee and you're like, oh God, I'm going to do it. But it's actually a chore.
Yeah.
If they have to be in your life, like they're your colleague, your work colleague,
They have to.
They have to. They're there. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they're teaching you a lesson
100%.
of how not to be, of why they're triggering you. I never say that person is XYZ. I always say, why are they triggering me?
Because they're your teacher. They're your mirror.
Yeah.
They reflect back on you and what you need to look at within.
I know it's funny because my husband, I always think about what triggers me, and if he does like everything around the house, he's really good, and I'm a disaster. But anyway, he could say something like, he could be literally in the middle of cooking dinner and be like, "Do you want some direction of what you should prioritize here?" Like he's trying to keep it. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. It triggers me so much.
Yeah, that happens to me too. Yeah. But my husband doesn't ask permission. Does he want, do I want help? He just comes in and tries to take over. And that's when we go, right,
No,
that's
I'm
it.
not even doing anything. I could be like sitting there on the chair. He's cooking dinner. He's practically doing laundry at the same time. Like I need to be told, but I don't like to be told what to do by. And I think it comes from
Maybe male energy.
Yeah. I'm like, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have this big thing of like, oh, no. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do what I want to do the way I want to do it. Even if it's backwards, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out, why does that trigger you? And I think I grew up in a house where my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she effectively, my dad brought in the money and she was told not what to do, but this is, you make the lunch, you make the dinner, you make the beds, you clean the house. And I was like, that ain't going to be me.
Exactly.
Not that I'm saying that's wrong, folks.
No, not at all.
But you have to figure out why it triggers you.
Yes, exactly. We're talking about the trigger.
And then maybe you can work back and be like, okay, he's just trying to help here. So relax. And always question yourself, the trigger,
But your partners, like, you pick your partners.
I manifested him. Yeah. I don't think he would have manifested me. But how do we go about, first of all, like, how do we go about not listening? Like people will say, like even when I wanted Sarah Blakely, the Spanx founder, on my podcast, I was told, you are delusional. But I've got a real thick skin. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah.
Good. I'm delusional. You should be like, literally, if you're not delusional, you're not dreaming big enough. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh,
and
yeah. Dreams are dreams. You know what I mean? We have to reach for the stars.
But not everybody will have, I'm now comfortable in my skin. I am confident in my abilities. I've manifested so much. So I don't really give a shit what people say I can or cannot do. I'm like, you watch. Tell me I'm delusional and see what happens.
Exactly. And I love that, because it's a test and you'll go out of your way to prove to the other person. I'll give you an example of testing the spiritual realm and manifesting. One day I was walking up Pliny Hill and my dad's passed and I was feeling a little bit low. And I was like, Dad, you know what? Come in and just like, my whole business is about spiritual wellness. I'm trying to like convince everyone of it, like something that's intangible. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no physical form, and this is my whole business. And I was kind of questioning it and going, is this what I'm supposed to do? And I said, Dad, just show me a sign. And I said, come in as a robin, walk around the hill. Walked around the hill and I had my dog Leo with me. And of course, Robin is not going to go near me with my dog Leo because he just loves birds. But I was walked down the hill going, yeah, all right, well, obviously it's all in my head and I'll just, give up. And I got in the car, and the next morning I woke up at 6 o'clock. We were going with my friends to the sunrise swim, and we were down in White Rock, and we were all getting changed. And next minute, like out of the blue, this plump, beautiful robin disappears, and it kept coming down from the wall and jumping over to me. Now, who sees a robin on a beach? You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. And it was constantly coming over and jumping over and being right beside me and on. And even my friends were like, Christine, that robin's for you. And I said, I think it's me dad, but I asked him to come in last night and obviously he was too busy. And I got back into my car and then I looked at my phone and I realized what date it was. It was my dad's anniversary. And I'm like, okay, Dad. And I remember saying, like, I see, I'm a tester. I like to test the spiritual world. Like, I really do. Because I need to prove, you know what I mean? I have to have proof. And so I said, okay, Dad, if that was you, it's Wednesday. The lotto is on tonight. I want to win the lotto tonight. And if I do, then I know it was you. So woke up Thursday. I had got my lotto ticket, went on the phone, checked it. Guess how much it won?
€100.
No, bloody €10. You forgot
10
about
euro.
6. And I was like, come on, Dad, 10 fucking euro. Sorry, am I allowed to curse?
There you go. Of course you can. Sure, I've cursing the whole way. You know what I think, though, as well? I think we have to remember that, first of all, you have to ask.
Yes.
So ask for the help. Be specific. But then, when you get the sign, when you get the help, accept it.
Yes.
There has to be a level of acceptance. I'm the same as you. I'm like, I used to do this a lot. I used to be like, okay, so now it's the next. Okay, so I saw my sign for Polly, the baby that passed, was a purple and orange butterfly. It had to be purple and orange.
Yeah.
Then I'd see when I'm like, but
Really?
is there another one?
Yeah.
Like, no. You've asked for the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Accept that it is a sign, and then go about your day and trust that it is, and
Yes.
trust the timing.
Yeah.
It meant so much more that the robin came on the day.
Yeah, 100%. And it was supposed to be that way.
And it's also about letting go.
Mm-hmm. And see, because we're so in a rush to control. And also, the spiritual realm has no concept of time or distance. It doesn't exist. It only exists in this world. So when we want to manifest something, and if it doesn't happen on our timeline, then we're like, oh, sure, it's never going to happen. But it could happen in 50 years' time. But you see, it's about the trusting and the surrendering.
Yeah, and it wasn't even for me. I was manifesting twins, 2 boys at Christmas, right? And it didn't happen for 7
Mhm.
years.
Yeah, and you were frustrated and getting angry and trying to control.
Trying to control all
Mhm.
the time. But it was actually after I had Penelope that I was like, I'm good, I'm done, I'm letting go. And then
I
surprise,
know. Yeah, they threw a curveball.
they threw a curveball and they're like, now you let go, you waited, you knew it was going to happen. I had this thing.
Yeah.
Even I've always gone for really early scans, like 5-6 weeks
Yeah.
because of my past. And when he said it was twins, I just had to laugh. I was like, this is not going to be a problem. Whereas every other scan, I was like,
The
oh
panic.
God,
Yeah.
like a little bit of the panic. But do you believe that we can create those sort of things that seem totally out of our control? Like the soulmate, the babies, I don't know, things that like people say to me, but come on, Yvonne, that's not manifestation. I'm like, but it is. There's everything I said. I found a little note from an old colleague of mine. I don't
Mm.
know what I was thinking going around actually telling people. Now she's a very spiritual person, but telling people
Yeah.
I was going to have twins. I was telling her, like, she must have thought you're mental. But anyway, she said, she sent me, after I had the twins, she sent me a message and she said, Yvonne, I found this in my book.
Oh,
It was a
wow.
sticky note that said, Dear God, please help Yvonne let go of her want to have twins and give her what she needs.
Oh, wow.
It was just proof. I was just
Yeah.
like, look at this. Like, this is proof that I was manifesting twins. But do you believe that there are things that we can manifest that feel totally not on the logical? Like, I can manifest the house, the car. You
Yeah.
work harder, you get a second job. You could make that happen,
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah. Yes, definitely. But it's about bringing it inwards. Are you balanced and aligned within yourself to be at a high frequency to let it in? So it's all about what vibration you're giving out, your words, your thoughts, everything, and also it's belief. Like you could throw out and say, "I want this," but really there's an energy within you going, "I probably don't deserve this." So that vibration's gone out,
Or
and
that's
so
not
you
going to
won't get it
happen
back.
for me.
Exactly. So even when we're trying to manifest, and there's like the voice in the back of your head going, "You're not going to get this, Christine. You're not going to get this." The vibration's already gone out because it's in your thoughts. It's like your wand.
So, how do you reverse that vibration or set up a new vibration to allow yourself to be on that vibration to,
Go on your healing journey.
yeah.
And that is layer by layer. Open yourself up and push
Oh
through
shit,
all the
guys.
fears. Oh, yes. I didn't tell you it was going to be easy.
Oh God. You know what? It's so funny. I have this thing that I'm going to write a book and I think it's going to be big at some point in my life.
Yeah.
But I keep getting these signs from spiritual people. Like Georgie Durkin was on. I went to a psychic medium. Now you. And it's like, Yvonne, you've got to do the work first.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm fine. But there's stuff there for everyone.
Oh, and it's layers upon like once you get through one layer, there'll be another layer. It's a process. Everything is a process.
And you also, like, as a parent, I guess, or as a friend or as a partner, do you want to continue that cycle? Like, I definitely believe that I have this cycle of, and I got it from my childhood, of your work is your worth. So
That's
I'm,
a trauma in itself.
yeah, Gabor Mate talked about that. One day I heard him say, Gabor Mate say, if you are always striving to work, that's a trauma response. And I was like, oh, holy shit. All
Yeah.
these trauma responses.
Oh, stop. You could actually just pull yourself apart. You'll notice trauma, 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 trauma. But
Yeah.
that's all what you need to do on your healing journey is to actually I call it the bird's eye view, the eagle view. It's about looking at the perspective of every angle of the situation you find yourself in. And that is observing where you are. You know, remember I was saying about like the power is in the solar plexus. You are like sitting at the seat of your consciousness, observing everything that is in your life, everything, the energies, people, your life experiences, your teachings, your lessons. And it's about understanding the role that everyone plays in your life and what they're teaching you and where you see yourself being moved forward or being pushed towards is your soul purpose. It's about that gravitational force of the vibration.
What do you think happens when we die?
Oh, we transform.
She smiled there,
I'm
guys.
I'm obsessed.
I think so are you afraid to die?
No.
No fear.
I nearly died once.
What?
But yeah.
What happened?
So my fourth child, again, totally out of alignment.
You 4 children?
Yeah.
How did I not know this? I've got 4 children. Oh, four child mom. I don't even know if that was grammatically correct. But anyway, you've got 4 kids. I've got 4 kids. What happened?
So my last child, again, totally stressed, anxiety, panic attacks. I was totally in the masculine energy with my previous business. And I was brought in to be induced because there was a fear of the baby was going to be affected from the stress. And
geez.
Baby was absolutely fine, great birth. But I remember I looked down and the placenta in the tray looked not whole. And I remember a voice coming in going, Christine, that's not normal. But because you're in that babyness thing and you're a bit overwhelmed, I didn't really pay attention to it. Again, not listening. And went down to the ward. Everything was settling. Everything was grand. My husband even went home. It was 2 a.m. It was absolutely fine. And then I hemorrhaged and I lost over half my body weight in blood and ended up in ICU and had to have 2 blood transfusions.
Oh my God, that happened to me.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
We were meant to meet.
We were.
I wasn't in, what happened to me was, so firstly, after Polly, the baby that passed away, typically like you have the baby and the placenta goes out and you're very, very happy, right?
Yeah.
But for me, the placenta wouldn't come out.
Mm.
So they tried. And if it's in too long, you need to surgically remove it. So my doctor came in, she'd come in the middle of the night, pull it, take it out. But what ultimately happened was just a tiny piece got left behind that expands and grows. And then, and it's funny, that happened to my mom. And my earliest childhood memory was living in California. And my mom was on the floor in the kitchen with blood everywhere.
Oh, God.
And I remember because she had my brother and the placenta was left in twice, right? But I think it's so crazy that you have these past experiences that actually happened to you. Do you think you're manifesting them, or do you think they're coming in for you to heal from them?
Heal and also learn from them and also to pivot. If I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't have went on my healing journey and I wouldn't be sitting right here in front of you.
Because it happened to me as well. Like after I had my son, he was on the cord. The cord, I was induced, but then we had a section. And I remember saying to the doctor, oh, the cord, like the next pregnancy, I'm definitely having, the next pregnancy, I'm 100% having a section. And the next baby died due to a rare cord incident.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're manifesting this, or we know? There's like this intuitive knowing that something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a deeper, I knew something was going, I actually turned to my husband 2 days before I was brought in to get induced to say, John, I feel something's going to happen. I'll be okay, but I feel something's going to happen. And he even said to me before he left at 2 o'clock in the morning, he goes, told you nothing would happen. I said, I know. And then the doctor had to ring him at 8 o'clock the next morning going, your wife's in ICU. Very lucky that she's here. And when he walked in, he was pure white going, what the hell? I said, I told you, but it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's a knowing. And I think we have to trust our gut, trust our intuition. And I really firmly believe that. I'm going to leave on this note. But if you have fear and doubt and anxiety, that voice of intuition, you are going to find it extremely hard to hear.
Yes.
So work on yourself. that healing journey, go to Christine, get your shit together. I need a few of these sessions. Thank you so much. That went by way too fast.
I know, way too fast. Thank you for having me.
We need another round.
100%.
There's so much stuff we could talk about. Yeah. People will be like, what, Yvonne? Guides, stairs, spiritual steps coming in, past lives? What in the name of God? This is so I think we're moving in that direction of being like more open to like spirituality, like you said. So thank you. Thank